Hey guys, Brett here. How you doing? Welcome to the Ultimate Weight Loss Guide Part 3. And this part is all about nutrition. So I'm just going to give it a couple of seconds, up to a minute, just to let people start getting onto this feed as well. So what we're going to be going through in this video is just the basics of good nutrition for weight loss. So we're going to go through the nutrients that are involved in most foods that you eat, what those nutrients do, also the rough estimate of calories that people should be eating per day, how different nutrients are absorbed, and so on. We're also going to go through breaking down nutritional information on a food packet, and also go into portion control. So the three main nutrients that we do have that we use for different things are fats, carbs, and proteins. Now they all do different things for the body. To break it down into understandable terms, carbs are used as fuel, protein is used as fuel to a degree, and also cell repair and body repair. Fats, the same as the above two, so it can be used as fuel, can be used for cell repair, and also used to help hormone regulation. Now, all three of them aren't bad. Parts of them can be bad. There are bad components to all three, but in the end, they're not actually that bad. Dog behind me, open. So they're not. There's a lot of misinformation out there about the way different people run things. So a lot of people say don't eat carbs after 6, or don't eat carbs at all. Go into an ultra low carb diet. Now, yeah, that can be good for some people. It can be extremely bad for some people as well. So just make sure if you do go into some sort of dieting regime, do your research into it first, because not a lot of the time it's just it's one person's idea on how things work. And I'm going to go through on this video my idea and what's worked for me and what's worked for a lot of my clients as well. So I run a very holistic approach, which we'll go through while we're doing this. So we've gone through the three different nutrients, being the carbs, the protein, and the fat. Now, each one of those has a certain amount of calories per gram consumed. So fat is, from memory, 9 calories per gram. Protein and carbs, they're roughly around 4 calories per gram as well. But as they're used for different things in the body, they're used for different things in the body. So it does ultimately come down to calories in versus calories out. That's plain physics, but it also is the type as well that you're eating. So, because they're all absorbed at different rates. I don't want to particularly go too much into the science of it, but we're just going to skim just over the top to let you know just the basics. So fats, 9 calories per gram, carbs 4, and protein 4 calories per gram as well. Now, your body's most preferred fuel source is glucose. So your blood glucose. So if you eat carbs, carbohydrates get broken down into sugars in your digestive tract and in your stomach. They all get broken down, get absorbed into the body as glucose, and that then becomes your blood glucose level. Now, what happens when you've got excess blood glucose excess blood glucose in your blood, excess glucose in your blood, sorry. It all gets stored first off as in your liver as glycogen, which once your liver's full and your muscles, because you do have stored glycogen in your muscles, it's a ready-made source for when your muscles are about to be, well, when your muscles get used. So That's why it's also stored in your muscles, stored in your muscles, stored in your liver. Once you've got too much of that, once your storages are full of that, it then gets converted into fat and gets stored as fat. So that's how your carbs basically get turned into fat. Goes as blood glucose first. Too much of that goes to glycogen, just change to glycogen in the liver, gets stored in your muscles and your liver. Once your reserves of that are full, gets stored as fat. So that's how fat's made in your body, through eating carbohydrates. Now, protein, that's mainly just for cell repair. All our muscles are made of protein, so that's basically how the protein works. It repairs the damaged cells, and so when you're doing weights, you're damaging your muscle. When you damage your muscle, you need the protein to then repair that muscle, to build up the structure again and create more. So that's how protein works. Fat works as basically it's an energy store first off, but also does a lot of hormone regulation. So that's why we actually do need body fat. No one would really ever be able to walk around at 0% body fat. You would die, and the very, very low you go, you'll find it very hard to move. So everyone does need fat. So fat in the end is not really that bad of a thing. It can be bad if you have got a lot of it, but fat's been demonized for so long, but there are studies coming out now to say that it's really not as bad as what we've all thought. Now, anyway, so that's the basic science behind it. The amount of calories, recommended calories that some female should be eating a day can range. Obviously, it goes off height and weight, and there's plenty of calculators on the internet that you can use. All you need to do is just type into Google calorie calculator or metabolic expenditure calculator, metabolic calculator. Type that in. It'll come up with a calculator that you can use for height and weight. Type that in, it'll let you know exactly what you need to eat per day to maintain that weight. Now, the average for females can range anywhere between 1,800 to 2,300 calories. So in the end, it's not that much, and you find that a lot of people are actually overeating a fair bit. And they're eating way extent of that, considering that you can get meals from fast food joints that are over half of what your daily expenditure is. So if you think about it, if you get, let's say, a massive, well, I wouldn't say massive, and I don't want to name names here either, but if you go to the local fast food burger chain and you get a large burger meal with a large Coke at the same time, now that's going to have so much fat, so much carbohydrates, a lot of simple carbohydrates as well, which we haven't touched on that, we'll go through in a second, and a lot of sodium, which we'll talk about sodium in a second as well, but also a lot of simple carbs, which are sugars from your Coke as well. So a large burger meal from the local fast food joint can easily get over half of your daily recommended expenditure or daily caloric need. So we've got to be careful of what we're going to be eating. And there are a lot of hidden stuff in fast foods and processed. Now, my theory, which I run with, and there's a lot of evidence out there for it as well, and this comes back down to myself being holistic approach. I am a massive fan of real food. So the less time it spends in a factory, the better it's going to be for your body. The better it's going to be for you, because it hasn't been heavily processed, so you know what's in it. So if you get an apple, you know what's in that apple. It's an apple. If you get pureed apple in a can, obviously it's been through the factory. You look at it and you'll end up turning around going, well, it's not just apple, it's got all this other stuff in it. So the real food that you eat, or eating real food, you know exactly what's in it, and you know it's going to be a lot better for you. So eat real food, less processed, and you'll be halfway there already. There's a lot of stuff going around about all the chemicals in processed food. That's for another day. We'll just talk about the nutrition component behind it at the moment. So in terms of your carbs, you do have your simple carbohydrates, which is your sugars, and your complex carbohydrates, which are your starches. So white potato being a starchy vegetable, that is complex carb, and simple carbs being all your basically pure sugars. So in soft drinks, jellies, stuff like that, they're all simple carbs. Now you might be surprised at the rate of which they're actually absorbed into the bloodstream. It's quite a fairly big difference. See, simple carbs, being obviously your sugars, they're absorbed into your bloodstream at roughly around 30 calories per minute. Now, it might not seem like much, but compared to simple carbs, complex carbs, it's actually a fair bit, because your complex carbs, they're only absorbed, it takes more to break them down because it's a complex chain. So breaking them down, it gets absorbed into your body at about 2 calories per minute. So that's 28 calories less a minute that your body will be absorbing by eating complex carbs over simple carbs. Carbs aren't bad. We need carbs, so don't get me wrong. I'm a massive fan of it. I eat potato, I eat pasta. It just comes down to portion control and knowing when you're sort of at your limit for that day or for that week, mind you. And I just lost my train of thought for a minute. But anyway, we'll get back to it. So that's how carbohydrates are absorbed by the body. I've gone through the 3 different nutrients, being fat, protein, and carbs. So I'll just touch on them quickly again. So your carbs, fuel source; protein, fuel source mostly for cell repair and muscle is a cell. So cell repair, and what's the last one? Fats for cell repair, fuel, and hormone regulation. So that's basically what your nutrients do. Now, let's get into a typical diet at the moment for, let's just say, the average overweight person in Australia. I could probably pinpoint it to, let's say they get up, have a coffee, have a bowl of cereal, maybe with an extra bit of sugar on it. I was one of those sugar-loving kids when I was little. I used to get Fruit Loops, even though they're heaps hell sugary already. But lo and behold, I would put like heaped tablespoons of sugar on my Fruit Loops as a kid. Obviously, I don't do that anymore. I don't even have Fruit Loops anymore. But they were tasty. I did love them as a kid. But anyway, back to the story in hand. So most people either would go with, let's say, a coffee. If some people go out for breakfast, they might get croissants, pancakes, all that sort of good gear. Being tasty, I know they're very, very tasty, but stay with me for a minute. Or bowl of cereal or stuff like that. Now, I've got a cereal packet just sitting here that we're going to go through in a second. And you'd be quite surprised at this as well, because they're all marked as being fairly healthy for you. This one here that I'll go through, it's got the Heart Foundation tick, and it's got a 4-star health rating. Now, I'm not a massive fan of the health rating that's in the shops at the moment, and we'll touch on that as well in a minute. But they're the breakfasts that people usually go for. Lunches, a lot of people maybe meat pies, hot dogs, donuts, sandwiches, stuff like that, and that's fine. Dinners, massive dinner plates, baked dinners, processed foods, takeaways. That's basically the average what people eat in Australia. We're becoming a very, very unhealthy nation because of the foods that we're eating. Now, I did touch on it before, the whole eating of the real food versus eating processed food that's been in a factory. And I'll really hone this in now of why real whole food is heaps better for you than what processed out of a factory. Now, you've got two foods, yeah? You've got, let's say you've got, I don't even really eat that many processed foods now, so I can't remember. But anyway, let's say you've got two identical foods. One's been through a factory, heavily processed. The other one, natural, straight out of the ground. So eat the one that's comes straight out of the ground. It's going to take longer to be digested in your body because it's still in its natural state. The one that's gone through the factory, well, the factory's done 3/4 of the job that your digestive system is meant to do already. That's why it gets absorbed just like that. And the quicker our nutrients are getting absorbed, the faster we're actually going to start storing it as fat. And that's really what processed food does. It's so heavily processed in the factory that it's taking away the job of our digestive systems. So that's the main importance of eating real food straight out of the ground, straight from the farm. Support your local farmers at the same time, actually, by doing it. It's good for them, it's good for us. Alright, so back to going through mainly nutrition on breakfast at the moment, because this is what I've got here. Now I've got this breakfast cereal box just here. I'm gonna break down what is actually the nutritional information on it, and I'll break down the ingredients listing as well, and you'll be quite surprised. Now, as you can see on the front, I don't know if you can see it too much, 4-star rating just here, and it's got the Heart Foundation approval tick just here. So, marketed, if people see this on the shelf, they'll go, yeah, no worries, 4-star health rating, awesome, I'll grab that. Or you'll see the Heart Foundation tick going, yeah, it's good for me, I'll grab that. But you might be, once I read through this, you might be a little bit surprised. So, energy, 615 kilojoules. Protein, 5.4 grams. Yeah, it's got no fat. Well, it's got 0.9 grams of fat, so barely any fat whatsoever. That's why it's got the Heart Foundation tick. You come through, carbohydrates, 27.2 grams of carbs. Now, carbs aren't bad. They've been demonized, but they're not bad, so don't worry too much about it. And underneath the carbohydrate one, you'll see the sugars. So when we're talking about complex carbs and simple carbs, they're the two difference. That's the difference. So where it says carbohydrate, 27.2 gram, that is total carbs, and then the sugars component, that's your simple carbs. So this has actually got 9.5 grams of simple carb in a serving of this, which is 40 grams apparently. And that's with milk? No, that's dry. So that's without milk. If you put milk in it, it's going to have more. With skim milk, it ends up coming up to 15.7 because it's got the milk in there as well. So then we come down into dietary fiber, 3.4 grams, and sodium, 66 milligrams. So that's the nutritional information of that. Now, it has got a lot of simple sugar in it. Now, you could turn around and say, yep, you know what, that's probably because of the fruit. So the peach and the sultanas in it. Fruits are sugars anyway, so you could basically say that that's where it comes from. But if you turn around and actually go down to the ingredients listing down the bottom here, and the way that you read this is top, and it starts off with what the highest ingredient is in it, okay? So what it's mainly most up of till what it's the least made up of down in the bottom. So this one, so whole grain cereals, yeah, cool. Wheat, yeah, cool. Oats, 5%, yeah, cool. Then you know what the next one is after that? Sugar. So they've actually added sugar to this. So that's where a lot of your sugar is coming from in this. They've actually turned around and gone, you know what? We don't think it's sugar enough. We're going to add some more in there. So that's what you've got to be careful about when you're doing, when you are doing food shopping, is really get in there and look at the ingredients listing. So that's basically how you should really go through nutrition labels and stuff like that. Really break them down, have a look. Don't go off this health rating. This health rating is a crock of shit. Something that's got added sugar in it should not be a health star rating at all. I don't know how they've done it, but there are conspiracies out there, a lot of things out there. Anything it's government funded, but also the food industry's obviously had input into it. So in the end, the health star rating, it doesn't mean shit. It's just a marketing ploy. Do yourselves a favor, really look at the ingredients listing. Now, if the ingredients listing has sugar in it, that means they have added sugar to that product, okay? So if it has, try and avoid it and go to something more natural. Now, that's how the food industry get ya. They have that whole marketing ploy of the tick and the health star rating. Now, so what is a good diet for an Australian female or male, if there are any males that are watching this? Well, high protein, medium fat to lower carb. I wouldn't say extremely low carb, but lower carb is definitely on the rise. But I don't like the word diet, because if you say diet, it means you're going to go back to something else. So we want to turn around and instead of using diet, excuse me, we want to use the term lifestyle change, because that's what we need. We need a lifestyle change. So we don't want to use diet anymore. Lifestyle change is what we want to do. So I lost my train of thought again, but I'll get there in a second. So where was I? 1 second. Just bear with me. I just lost it. I had the box. Oh yeah, that's right. So a diet for the average Australian. We want to eat real food. So instead of having processed stuff and grainy stuff that's been through a factory for breakfast, get some real food in there. Get some eggs. Get some salads in there with the an egg omelette. Well, omelettes are made of eggs, obviously. So grab some eggs, chuck some veggies in an omelette. Bang! That's a high protein and medium fat, lower carb breakfast. Get some carbs throughout the day through vegetables, through fruit. That's where you should be getting your carbs from instead of white breads and pastas. You can eat them. Don't get me wrong. I eat them as well, but it has to be in moderation, guys. Definitely a lot of nutrition based is everything in moderation. That's how I run. I have days where I'll eat a shit tin of bad stuff, but because throughout the rest of the week I'm usually really good, so I don't really to say that you guys should be doing that, but that's what I tend to do every now and then. So everything in moderation. Try and eat real food. The less processed it is, the better it is for you. Look at the nutritional information on packaging. And with that, I'm going off on lots of tangents here. I'm really passionate about this subject. Is when you do go to the shops to do your shopping, you should be filling your trolley mostly from around the outskirts of the supermarket, if you go to a supermarket. Around the outskirts of the supermarket. You should barely need to go through the aisles themselves. Going through those aisles, obviously it's not refrigerated or anything like that, so that's all your heavily processed food that doesn't need refrigerating. It's got all the chemicals in it. It's got all the preservatives in it that could be doing you harm. So you want to go around the outskirts, get all the fresh food. Fresh is best, whole is best. That's what we want. Now, I want to talk a little bit before we finish up on portion control. and how many meals you should be eating per day. Now, there's different studies out there saying you should eat your 3 square meals a day, which most people do, or you should eat 6 meals a day, you should eat 10 meals a day, or whatever. In the end, it's entirely up to you guys how much you want to eat during the day, because it does come down to how much you've actually eaten. But a good strategy is to eat smaller meals throughout the course of the day, because if you do that, you stay fuller for longer and you are eating more constantly, which means you won't have that binge effect of an afternoon when you get home from work or something like that, which I've been guilty of it numerous amounts of times. I know a lot of people have, where is I'll go out, or someone else will go out or whatever, and you have you eat your breakfast, you eat your lunch when you get to work, but by the time you get home, you're famished, and you find it very, very hard to control what you're going to eat. So you just reach in the cupboard, grab the first thing you get, and it could be a packet of chips, biscuits, or something like that, and you just smash it all down. So if we turn around and go, you know what, we're going to eat smaller meals throughout the course of the day. I'm eating about six small meals in a container, only about that big now, every couple of hours, just so I'm eating at the time, and just so I don't get that really, really hungry feeling when I get home, so it's easy to control. Also, you want healthy snacks, so nuts, legumes, fruits, and just healthy food, real food like that, to keep you going throughout the day. Now, portion control, when you are having dinner, I know a lot of people have, I've got a plate just here, so this is an old dinner plate that I've got sitting here. A lot of people will just have this whole plate filled with food. They'll have like a massive piece of steak or something like that takes up almost half the plate, massive clump of mashed potato over here, and just a little bit of green veg or something just here. What we should be doing is actually narrowing it down to just that smaller inside circle there. So we shouldn't have anything going outside of that circle whatsoever. And how it should be broken down is you just get a quarter of that inside circle, and that's your little protein section just there. So if that protein is coming out of that little quarter, just cut a little bit more off, you don't need it. And then draw another line over half, so that other little quarter should be your starchy carbohydrates, so or complex carb, being a little bit of pasta, a little bit of rice, or a little bit of potato in that other one. So your protein and your carb should make up half your plate, okay? The rest up the top, green leafy vegetables, salads. So stuff like spinach, cabbage, beans, bok choy, cauliflower, all those veggies. I know a lot of them taste like absolute crap, but there are things that you can do to them to make them a little bit more tasty. Chuck a bit of herbs in there, a bit of spice and stuff like that. So plate, back to the plate, half the plate, this bottom half here, divide that in half again. One side protein, other side starchy or complex carb. Top half of your plate, all green veg. Chuck a bit of salad in there as well, if you want to, but all keep it within this inside circle, okay? That is that will help definitely with portion control. That's almost about it. I did have one more thing. That's right. Prepping for the week. Now, it's not for everyone. I don't expect everyone to be able to do it. It's something that helps me a lot. It's something that helps a lot of other people I know a lot as well. So it might help you guys as well. And that's what we're all about. We just want to get out there and help you guys to lose weight if you need to, or just be generally healthier. So prepping. Now, you can prep for the whole week. It can be done. It doesn't take too long whatsoever. If you look through our page, you'll see a couple of photos every now and then that I've put up of stuff that I've prepped for my week, and it can be really, really good. It can be really tasty. Now, one of them the other day that I put up was just poached chicken, a bit of poached chicken and some stir-fried mixed veg, fresh veg, mind you. And all that veg was bok choy, cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli. Now, the only one of that veg that I actually do like is the bok choy. The rest of them I cannot stand. I hate it with a passion. I really, really do. But you chuck in a little bit of herb and spice, and it makes the world of difference. And with that chicken as well, it was awesome. It was great. I love it now. Absolutely love it. But I still hate those vegetables by themselves. Anyway, back to prepping. It doesn't take too long to prep. If you write down what you want to eat for the week, go out, buy that in bulk. It'll end up being cheaper for you anywhere. Buy it in bulk. Get little containers that are portion controlled. Get little containers and just cook up big batches. Now, if you're going to make something with a salad, obviously probably don't freeze your salad for later in the week. I don't think salad would be too good frozen. So don't freeze that. Make your salad, but cook your protein up. Just chuck the protein part in the freezer and then get it out when you need it and put it in your little container. Now, a good day to do it obviously is Sunday. Just make sure you plan it all. 9 times out of 10 it won't take you too long. The first time you do it, it might take you a fair chunk of time, but as you get used to doing it, actually gets kind of easy. So I'm just going to recap on what we've gone through. I am really passionate about nutrition, and I've probably gone off a little bit here and there in this video. So what I will do over the next couple of weeks is I won't do a live one on nutrition again, but I'll do a pre-recorded one that I'll put up on the page as well. That'll really hone in on a lot more information of what we've gone on in this one. And before I go, actually, it's also good to log what you've been eating for a good week or two, just so you get an idea of where you actually are with your food, because a lot of people I find turn around and think they're actually really eating healthy, and you'll turn around and go, you might, let's say you have a donut or something on a Monday, you've slipped up, you've gone, you've eaten a donut, all good, I love donuts as well, but you might have slipped up on a Monday, you've eaten a donut, you go, no, that's cool, I'll make up for that during the week. And you're going well, by the time Thursday, Friday hits, you've totally forgotten that you've eaten that donut on the Monday. So you then end up slipping up on the Thursday, Friday again because you completely forgot about the last one. So it really does pay to look over, to log what you've been eating throughout. I'd give it 2 weeks, I really would. Because if you're doing it just for the 1 week, you know what you're looking for. If you do it over the 2 weeks, you sort of relax more in the 2 weeks, and you'll go back to a normal way of eating. So you really get a good insight into what you've actually been eating. Now, in the end, and I'm going to finish up with this, after everything that we've been and gone through. In the end, couple of main points to take away from this nutritional video. 1, eat real food. Just real food. The less processed it is, the better it's going to be for you. If it's packaged and it's got more than, let's say, 3 ingredients on the ingredients listing, it's heavily processed. So we want to get back to nature. We want to get back to real food. To help you do that, find a local farmer or a company that does direct from farmer. There's a few out there. I'm not affiliated with any of them. I'm not affiliated with any of them. There are 1 or 2 that I use, and if you do want to know, just shoot me a message and through Facebook, and I'll let you guys know who I've gone through, and they are rather tasty. So I'll let you know that, and they might do your area as well. So eat real food, preferably straight from farms or your local fresh food markets. It's really, really good. 2, look at all the nutritional information on the packaged stuff you guys buy, okay? Look at the average quantity per serving. Don't look at the per serving one, look at the per 100 grams. So when you're comparing products, don't look at the per serving one, look at the per 100 grams, because the serving size for each different product could be different, okay? So when you're looking at this little box here, just look at the 1 per 100 grams. Also look at the ingredients listing. Ingredients listing goes from the highest content all the way to the lowest content. So obviously this has got, in all honesty, there's probably 40, I wouldn't say 40, probably 30 ingredients in this. Whereas on the front it just says plus protein, peach sultanas and oat clusters. Now to me that should really only be 1, 2, 3. There should only be 3 ingredients in this. But if you look over in the ingredients listing, there's about 30 odd in there. So yeah, there's way too many. And having sugar as the 4th ingredient on there, it means there's added sugar. That's what we've got to look out for. We've got to look out for added sugars in our diet. That's what's killing us. That's what's making us bigger. That's what's giving us type 2 diabetes. All the hidden sugars in our foods that we've got to steer clear from. And last of all, last but not least, goes back to portion control. Smaller plate sizes, guys. Eat more throughout the day, but smaller amounts. Yeah. That's really about it for this video. If you do have any questions on anything that I've gone through, any comments, just feel free to chuck them in the comment section. If you want to, we're back. Yeah, we're back. Cool. If you do want to ask any questions at all, just type them in the comment section. If you want to ask a live question right now while you got me online right now, feel quite free to chuck it up there. I'll be happy to answer it right now. Failing that, if you do have any queries, dramas, questions, anything further on nutrition that you want to go through, more than happy to help you guys out. Send us a message through our Facebook page. Send me an email, brett@enlivenyourfuture.com. Also jump on our website. We do have a couple of blogs up there that can definitely help you out. We've also got our 10 tips for melting fat ebook, which we're going to be changing up shortly. Coming out with something new and improved, something better. So hold out for that. And we've got a lot of freebies coming up too, guys. So if you want to get involved in those, make sure you jump on our page and contact us if you do need a hand with anything. Other than that, we'll let you guys know when we put more stuff out. Don't forget, part 4 of this video series will be next Thursday. Can't remember what the date is for that at the moment, but today's the 23rd of June. So it'll be next Thursday, same time, 8 PM, and that one is going to be all about exercise. So different types of exercises that you can do, and how good certain exercises and what they actually do for you. So on that note, guys, I'll let you go. Got a lot more to do, a lot more to plan for the rest of the weekend. So hope you guys got a lot of info out of this. I know I've probably gone off on a little bit of tangent, just so I'm so passionate about this subject that I do sort of get excited a bit and I go off, but I can clarify anything you guys need to know. Just shoot me a message. Other than that, guys, I will hopefully see everyone on the next video. Bye for now.